Hey everyone, so if you've glanced at the 2022 update to ISO 27002 and just saw a renumbered list of controls, you're not alone. But you're kind of looking at the blueprints and completely missing the engine. In this explainer, we are going to go way beyond those surface level changes to unlock the really flexible strategic framework that's now sitting at its core. All right, let's get into it. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start with the new philosophy behind the standard, then we'll look at the basic structure, those 4 control themes. After that, we dive into the real game changer, the attribute system. Then we'll pull apart a single control to see where all this new stuff actually lives. And we'll wrap up by looking at how you can use all this to build your very own security frameworks. Okay, first things first, let's really reframe how we look at this update. This isn't just a simple revision, a fresh coat of paint. ISO/IEC 27002-2022 is a fundamental shift in how we're meant to interact with and apply security controls in our own unique organizations. So what is this big new philosophy? Well, to put it simply, it's a move away from a static, one-size-fits-all checklist to a dynamic and multidimensional toolkit. It's designed so you can filter it, sort it, and view it from all these different perspectives. That way, it serves different people in your organization, from the hands-on practitioner all the way up to the board. Let's start with the most straightforward piece of the puzzle. The standard kicks things off by grouping all 93 controls into 4 really high-level intuitive themes. Honestly, just think of this as the main table of contents for the whole document. It's the first, simplest way to get your bearings. And here they are. It's pretty logical, right? If a control is about, say, HR policies or employee screening, it's a people control. If it's about locks on doors, that's a physical control. If it deals with firewalls and encryption, it's technological. And pretty much everything else, the policies, the procedures, the governance stuff, that all falls under the organizational umbrella. It's a simple, high-level grouping that gives us a familiar place to start before we get into the new mechanics. Okay, now we're getting to the most significant evolution in the 2022 standard. This is where the real power is. We're talking about attributes, a system that's designed to give you a multi-perspective view of your entire control set. This is the stuff that really changes the game. So what in the world is an attribute? Well, the standard defines it as a characteristic of a control that's used to generate different views. But let's be real, the best way to think about them is as different lenses or filters. It basically turns the standard from a flat list into something more like a powerful database. You can put on your risk management lens or your cybersecurity framework lens and see the exact same set of controls in a totally new and much more useful way. And this table right here, this is the engine room. The standard gives us 5 different sets of attributes, and each one offers a totally unique perspective. You've got control types, InfoSec properties, cybersecurity concepts, operational capabilities, and security domains. Let's just quickly touch on what each of these lenses shows us. The first one, control type, is all about timing and function. Is a control preventative, meaning it's designed to stop an incident before it even happens? Is it #detective, there to spot something as it's going down? Or is it #corrective, to help you clean up the mess afterwards? This view is absolutely crucial for planning your incident response and linking your controls directly to your risk treatment strategies. Next up, a true classic, information security properties. Yep, it's the good old CIA triad. This attribute lets you filter your controls based on their main goal. Are they there to protect #confidentiality, to ensure #integrity, or to maintain #availability? This gives you a direct, easy-to-defend link between any given control and the core principles of information security. Now, this one is super interesting because it's all about integration. The cybersecurity concepts attribute maps every control to the framework from ISO/IAC TS 27110, which, you'll notice, looks a lot like other popular frameworks. This lets you see your controls through that lifecycle lens of identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. It makes it so much easier to sync up your ISMS with your bigger cybersecurity programs. The operational capabilities attribute. I like to call this the practitioner's view. It groups controls into the practical functions that your teams are actually doing day to day, like #asset management or #threat and vulnerability management. This is absolutely perfect for things like building out a RACI chart to clarify who owns what, and just generally managing your daily security operations. And last but not least, we have security domains. Think of this as the 30,000-foot strategic view. It groups controls into 4 key areas: hashtag governance and ecosystem, hashtag protection, hashtag defense, and hashtag resilience. This perspective is all about translating technical details into the language of enterprise risk, which makes it invaluable for your reports to senior leadership and the board. So, we've talked about all these concepts, all these different views, but where do you actually find this stuff in the document? Let's take a single control and dissect it to see how this all comes together in the real world. The layout for every control is just beautifully structured now. You get the title, the main control description, its purpose, and of course detailed guidance. But look right there at number 2, the attribute table. Right at the top of every single control, there's now this neat little table that shows you the values for all 5 of those attributes we just talked about. This is the data that powers all those different views. It's right there for every control. And finally, this is where it all leads. This is the ultimate takeaway. The standard doesn't just give you a new structure, it essentially gives you permission to create your own. This is the point where the 2022 update stops being a document and starts being a strategic tool. And don't just take my word for it, it's written right here in the standard. It explicitly says that organizations can ignore the attributes they don't need, and, this is the big one, they can create their own attributes to generate views that are unique to them. This completely transforms ISO 27002 from a prescriptive checklist into a customizable toolkit for building your own bespoke security frameworks. So that brings us to the final question I want to leave you with. If you could create your own filters, your own custom lenses for your security controls, what would they be? Maybe you'd create an attribute to map controls to GDPR articles, or maybe one for specific business units, or for different cloud providers you use. The standard now provides the mechanism. The strategy is entirely up to you. So really think about it. What custom attributes would unlock the most valuable insights for your organization?